Good day, EWTN watchers. We have a marvelous group of people here. They're all builders and they're from Atlanta. First of all, I want to introduce you to Don. But Don, what is your group called? Will you tell our EWTN audiences?
We are the Atlanta Builders. We come down year after year to build basically anything that you want, Father. Mm-hmm. And have enjoyed doing it for now 24 years. And I remember the first trip that we came down, there was just 6 of us. And our group has grown every year. And we've had as many as 35 with us every year. Mm-hmm. The group that's with us this time, we've got 21 people, 20 men, 1 lady, who helps organize our group and keeps us hydrated as we're working. But we've had it's been an experience, life experience for us, I think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So. Why do you do this, though, Don? You could have been on holiday, no? At Negril or Discovery Bay or Ocho Rios.
Yes. Well, I've always been interested in doing things, giving back, tithing, so to speak, and it's always been my dream to be able to come in and help the poor. Always thinking, of course, that I could give something, and finally coming to the realization that I'm getting more than I'm giving. So it's just it's an experience that's almost beyond words. When you couple the love we have for humans, other people, and you couple that with the love of Jesus Christ, it's the most powerful force that I've come across. Mm-hmm. Mm. And I never feel closer to God than I do when I'm down here. Mm-hmm. Mm. So that's why I keep coming back.
Okay.
It's kind of like a refresher course every year.
Yes. When you say, though, Don, that you believe that you receive more than you give. Could you explain? Yes. What do you mean by that?
Well, I always thought when we first started coming down that we were, spreading the love of Christ to the people here in the poor, in the ghettos and stuff. And after a few years, I started realizing that it was their love that was feeding me, not vice versa. In the love of the brothers and through example and stuff, and I take that back and try and share that in my life with other people and give like you do here. So, and I think it makes me a better person. Mm-hmm. So that's my motivation.
Can you tell me what Chris, would you introduce yourself and also tell us what does a day look like? Working in the ghettos, on the buildings, and so forth.
I'm Chris Prangley. I'm from Kennesaw, Georgia, and I met Father Holung at my home parish of St. Catherine of Siena in Kennesaw back in 2002. He was there doing a program, and one of the brothers was speaking in anticipation of the Jesus 2000 play that they were giving. And during that time, we actually were recruited to be in the play because they were short. So I immediately fell in love with the brothers, the Jamaican people, and the charism they brought to us. And so that was my first introduction. Then I met Don's partner at the time. His name Vern Reese, who was one of the people that helped her originally deal with that. Our Jerry Gettinger now does that for the group. And Don is the mastermind behind the actual operations. his son Chris Sackman is very key to the operation as well, and Patty, Jerry's wife, is very integral to it. But Vern introduced me to the first service trip, and I remember sitting next to him, and he schooled me on what was going to happen during this thing. I had no idea what was getting ready to happen. We first walked in, and there was a celebration, a Jamaican celebration here in Kingston, which, by the way, since 2002, I've never in Jamaica set foot on a beach for pleasure, though I put vacation on my immigration papers, because it is. We're working in the ghettos of Kingston. We see terrible things, and in the midst of all this poverty and poor people that are struggling to just make it, they bring life. There are these oases of Gardens of Eden. They're beautiful structures where they reach out and touch everybody. Their love and charism for these folks, at first, it hurts to see this, but then as you see these people that are physically, mentally handicapped and challenged, smiling, when you touch a person that's 17 years old that is this long, and she looks up and smiles at you, and you touch her and love her, these people are rejected. There's no greater feeling than that.
Mm-hmm. What does that have to do at all with your faith?
Well, Jesus calls us to be humble, to serve, to love. And if we think of the Beatitudes and how that we find that love in serving the poor. I mean, he several times in the Gospels and in the New Testament, even in the Old Testament, we're called to serve those that are lowly. And we live in drive our cars and go to good schools and have good jobs. It's difficult in that life to get that service, to really feel that in our homes and in our daily lives, to take a break from that and come and know how the brothers serve, and they do it with joy, and they receive no money, and they are working in these ghettos. For us to join with them, it teaches us to bring ourselves down to earth, to serve the poor, and it gives me graces beyond measure. I mean, I become very emotional when we have masses. That's another thing about the charism of the Missionaries of the Poor. The brothers bring a spirit to worship that is unmatched in my mind. Today was one of the best masses I've ever been to. And it's amazing to watch the community come together in the ghettos of Kingston, Jamaica, and walk in a procession of 50 or 60 people carrying food to lay at the table of God, and to then distribute that food to the poorest of the poor in these places. And these people have nothing, and they find joy in the worship that the brothers bring them, and that gives me just a much greater faith to go home with to my family.
Thank you, Chris. Lynn, how many years now?
Father, I came here first in 1996. I've been here 17 years.
17 years.
Yes, sir. I retired in 95, and 96 was the first year I came here. And being here with Missionaries of the Poor has really changed my life. I worked at a company that I worked probably 80 hours in a 5-day week, and never felt like doing anything on the weekend, or couldn't do anything on the weekend but catch up the chores around the house. And when I came here, the first visit here, I went home and told my wife I had never experienced anything like this. And
what was that experience?
That experience was to see the brothers here, the love that they gave us when we were here, and the love they showed us as serving the poor and to be with the poor. And I was raised a Baptist. My wife was raised a Church of Christ. And after being here a couple of years, I went back and told my wife, you know what, I think I have found the right religion. I have found God through Missionaries of the Poor. And it has really changed our life. And I went back and was baptized in the Catholic Church up in St. Siena.
Catherine of Siena.
Yes, sir. And now then I'm moved to Gulf Breeze, Florida in the last 8 years, and I go to St. Sylvester there. But I've always loved giving to the poor. I see a lot of poor people there begging, and always it feels good to stop and to let them know that, hey, look, I'm with you, that somebody's with you, and we do care. Right. And that's a good feeling to have to come down here. It's like getting your battery recharged. During the year, you feel like you're running low, and you come down here and you go back and you feel like, you can't express the feeling that you get.
We are building a house. We are building a house. We are building a house for God to dwell. Building a house. Building a house. Building a house for God. We are building a house. We are building a house. Building, 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 building a house. God has asked his children. God has asked his servants. Building a house for God.
Just give your name.
My name is Chris Sackman. I'm his son. And this is my 10th time to Kingston, and I've been to the Philippines 2 years ago. And then we were in South Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina 1 year.
Oh, working at ministry there.
Yes. And we worked on the chapel up there.
What was your experience like when you first came down there? Were you shocked?
I was. I at the time I had never seen a place like, Kingston. And I might have seen it on vacation, I don't know, in Bahamas or something, but I didn't experience it that close. So when you get to experience that close and firsthand, my first project was at the Faith Center, and just seeing all the people that MOP was helping there, and the number of residents there, and then they were all getting fed every day and bathed every day, and it was just very inspiring, and I knew I was in the right place.
How has it been going, Cayman?
It has been going really well, and I have met many little children that it is so sad just looking where they live, but at the same time they're also happy with what they're doing and how they're living in their environment.
Do you think it's a good thing for kids your age or other kids to come to Jamaica and work in the ghettos and among these poor people?
It depends on what you're expecting, because if you're expecting just to have a fun vacation and have a great AC and get cooled every time you come into the hotel, you can't expect that. You have to be ready to get hot and dirty, and you have to also grow in your spirit, and you have to grow in what you believe in Jesus Christ. And
okay, great. Okay, and then we've got you, Chris, and Jerry. Pardon me. You, Jerry, and your wife is here, no? Yes.
I'm Jerry Gettinger from Ackworth, Georgia. I've been coming down to Missionaries of the Poor for, I guess it's over 12 years now. And what drove me to come down the first time, I was sitting in Mass one Sunday and I was listening to the gospel, and there was the message that said, "Here I am, Lord." And as we were leaving church, they played the song, "Here I am, Lord." And I get back to the back of our sacristy, or the church, and one of my friends came up to me and said, there's this group that goes down to Jamaica and works with Missionaries of the Poor. I think you should come down and try it sometime. And I had done some work with Habitat for Humanity in the Atlanta area, in the Northwest chapter. But I said, okay, let me try it. And I came back home after coming down here, and my wife said, "What happened to you?" She goes, "For 3 months, all you've talked about is Father Ho Lung and the Missionaries of the Poor." And I think the reason for that was it was a profound impact on me. When I saw the residents that you take care of and how the brothers sacrifice every day, getting up, feeding the poorest of the poor, bathing them, taking care of them, it had a special impact on me and on my heart. And as a result of that, my wife started coming down, and this is her 10th year. We've had our daughter and son-in-law has been down twice. We've all been working on building projects each and every one of those years. So it's had such an impact on me that it literally has changed my life and how I see the poor. And I see the poor in America versus the poor in the rest of the world. And even though I try to help the poor in America through my Habitat for Humanity work, the people in America don't know how well off their poor are. And there is poverty there. There's nothing like you see in some of the other countries, such as Jamaica and other missions where you have it around the world.
Patty, you allow him to come down?
Yes, when he went the first time, I thought, well, that's not really my thing. But then he did. He talked about everything that happened to him, and he was so powerfully moved by that experience that I said, well, I need to check this out for myself. Something's going on there.
Yes.
And I'm not a builder. I mean, I might throw water bottles or dispense Band-Aids or whatever. And so I've worked a little bit more in the centers. But I didn't know what to expect when I came down, because up until that point, the only way I'd ever help the poor was to write a check. And don't get me wrong, I think financial giving is so important to help feed and clothe and provide homes for the poor, but it's detached. And when you're there face to face with someone who really needs, who would probably die without what MOP does, it's so powerful. Writing a check doesn't have any emotion tied to it. It's good. It makes you kind of feel, okay, I did the right thing. But to sit there and give someone a hug who has felt lost and sad, to find a way to make someone smile who's been really sad, or to help someone have a meal that might have gone hungry that day. It touches your heart in a way that it's almost impossible to describe to anyone else. And that's why you keep talking about it. You're trying to find those words that could say, this is so powerful. And I always kind of thought, well, I'm a good person, until I came here. And then I saw what the brothers did, and their generosity and their prayer life. I said, well, I think I need to raise the bar, which I had about here up to about here. And it has changed me in that it's helped me create a spiritual path for myself. I still kind of wander off, but coming here every year, I feel like it helps me stay on that path. As everyone has said, it recharges me. And I do feel so blessed, and the smiles and the hugs, and that I get fed in every way, both emotionally and spiritually, in a way that nothing else can do for me. And I thank you so much for making that possible for us.
We are building a house. We are building a house. Building a house for God to dwell. Building a house. Building a house. Building a house for God. I shall be your father. You shall be my children. I shall teach you servant. You shall be my people. I shall build a kingdom. There shall be a house. Building a house for God. Building a house.
Anyone else would like to share?
Well, my name is Jim Black, and I've never pounded a nail in my life. I actually am a funeral director by trade. My first trip here, I met a lot of strangers. who have become my brothers. They've taught me how to work hard, how to pray hard, how to live a good life. Spiritually, I was always a very spiritual person, but now I have found another avenue of spirituality. And I too am fed by this trip. And I've just loved my brothers that I've come to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Any thoughts? You want this group to grow more and more, and what do you think about other church people coming down and doing maybe some of the same work, or other points like medical missions and collecting food as is happening now in various parishes overseas?
I think that, I hope that this group carries on. I think we have the nucleus that will do it. I know that the young people that we've got coming up that have been doing it, they might miss a year here and there, but they keep coming back, so they see something that we saw. And hopefully you're going to continue to need us.
Oh, you will.
And where there's a need and there's people that care about humanity and poor people of the world, I think that we have a good chance of manifesting this group of people to go forward and continue on.
Yes.
What do you guys think?
This is just a wonderful opportunity for lay people to be involved. As was discussed earlier, we have a communion now with the brothers. We're associates with the brothers. We plan with the brothers. We rejoice with them, pray with them. They invite us they feed us at times. They feed us spiritually. And something said earlier was very important to me. When you see grown men talking about the faith, it's not necessarily always the thing to do in modern society, right? The secular world is after us all the time. And so the devil is alive and well, and we are pulled in so many different directions. This allows us to interact with men of faith in the brothers and in their service to the poor, and to learn our Catholic roots and just expand immensely in our prayer life and spirituality. But then more than that, it allows us lay people who aren't religious to go home and experience this with our families and our friends and our own churches. And so that is something that is huge to me, that we see people that aren't just going to Mass every Sunday and leaving and going to work. Yes, they can talk about their faith in ways, but or just say, I'm Catholic and I go to this church or that church, or I go to Habitat for Humanity. This is an expression of faith that's unmatched, in that the prayer life, the spirituality, the giving, the work, the heart. The saying is, it's joyful service to Christ on the cross by serving the poor. How profound a statement is that? Because in our suffering out there, we learn something we can't elsewhere. We can talk about it with each other. It's important as a lay person.
It's really faith in action, And as St. John says, it's the doing of it. It's the works that really tell you what your faith is like, And by their works, you will know them, what's in their hearts. So it's been really wonderful to have you all here. And I hope that you're planning it from generation to generation, But God bless you, Right now the church is talking so much about the need of the new evangelization. People going, the church, which yourselves would be a part of course, should go out to the outer edge of the world and bring the good news of Jesus Christ to people who are the least and the most forgotten of people, and that our church is really missionary in every way. It's not meant to be domestic. The very fact of your baptism is telling you, go out, spread the good news to all nations and baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. So God bless you all, and continue to spread the faith, you know. I find that it's amazing to me that each year about 1,000 people come down here now. Young people, all kinds of people come here and they work and they find a joy in it that it can only be explained by Christ, the life of Christ that they experience. So God bless you. EWTN watchers, we thank you for listening to us, and come along and be part of that missionary call. Go to the outer edge of the world and go to the poorest of people and spread Christ, spread the light, spread the faith that has been given to you.